Heyo everybody, Haku here with another response to a video challenge. This one from Raizen4k, who once again will have his video in the comments and probably also description. I'll link it there. But this is my Tower of God unpopular opinion, and this one was actually extremely difficult just because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like so many things one way or the other. Like, I'm like, that opinion's not that unpopular. Like, there are so many of the criticisms I have, because like I feel like so many answers to this sort of question are going to be, everybody likes this series, so they like that. So it turns into just what your criticisms of the series are. But I feel like most of my criticisms, like stuff like, oh, Bomb being too strong too quickly, not focusing on tests or whatever anymore, like all of my criticisms are just common criticisms. They're things that other people already say. There are two things that I have that used to be unpopular opinions but aren't anymore. Like, there's one opinion I had that it's like, I used to have this unpopular opinion, but now I've changed my opinion and I don't have it anymore. And there's another that it's like, I have this unpopular opinion, but it seems like the general fandom has changed opinion and now it's not really unpopular anymore. And like, those are like, so I used to not like Andrasi or Endorsi, whichever you want to say. I used to not really like her. I thought she was extremely overrated. She didn't compel me at all as a character. I didn't think her fights were very cool. I did not really like or care about her for a long, long time. And in my older videos even, I said this a ton. I really didn't like or care about Andrasi that much. I didn't start to like her as a character until like Hidden Floor, which is like really far into the series. And then from like Hidden Floor onward, even though we really didn't see her that much, to be honest, but even rereading, I appreciated her more after that. Hidden Floor just completely turned me around on the character from thinking I don't like her that much, I think she's really overrated, to her being like top 10 or close to top 10 for me. So it's like I used to have an unpopular opinion, but then I changed my mind. Hidden Floor really turned me around on the character. And another one is, I used to say that the first part of Floor of Death with like the Bomb and Hackney stuff and Bomb getting the revelations from Garam was really, really good. But I used to say that the back half of Floor of Death was just not very good. I mean, it's cool seeing Yurik and all, and I didn't really dislike Heljo or anything, but I felt like the pacing wasn't very good. It dragged on a lot. There were a lot of chapters where it's just like, yeah, they're just still fighting. We didn't really make a ton of progress or anything. People complain all the time about things like the characters other than Bomb or the side characters not being that important, but Floor of Death is really that at its worst. So I used to have tons of criticisms of Floor of Death, and while Floor of Death was going on, or like right afterward in like Hidden Floor, people would hate me for criticizing it. People would think, like, my comments would rage about how I'm the biggest idiot in the world for not loving every single aspect of Floor of Death. But now, it seems like the fandom has changed opinions, where I see so many people criticizing Floor of Death now. And it seems like a very common thing for people to be like, oh yeah, the beginning with the revelations about Arlen and V are great, but then the stuff with Heljo isn't that good. And it's like, well, now this isn't an unpopular opinion anymore, because now people have changed their minds. Now the opinion's popular. And honestly, to go with the opposite of the criticism stuff, I think most of my more unpopular opinions are positive things, where it's like things that people really don't like, that I'm just like, I don't care about it that much, or that I actually like. Like, I see people all the time saying Season 3 isn't good, or Season 3 is terrible, and I'm like, Season 3 is good. The Nest, other than Bomb vs. White, the Nest is incredibly good. I love the Walls of Peaceful Coexistence, and with the Sleeping Forget-Me-Not, I love the Walls arc. The Cage, other than the Gato Louis Ding Ding stuff in the like first 7-8 chapters of it, I think is good. I think it does have the most problems of Season 3. Like I said, the first 7-8 chapters are kind of just more of what late Season 2 was doing with, oh, look how cool Bomb is, and screw everybody else. And then, of course, I was not compelled by the Ding Ding Louis Gato stuff. But again, other than that, like the Yama stuff, and I like the Doom and Paul stuff, I like everything else in the Cage, really. The Karaka stuff is nice. So yeah, it's like, I like Season 3. But then again, Tower of God wouldn't be doing so well right now and wouldn't be so popular if a bunch of other people didn't love Season 3. So I don't really know if that's an unpopular opinion or not. Is it an unpopular opinion that I like Season 3 and so many people don't like it? Another thing that might be an unpopular opinion, I have said this before, that I don't know if Tower of God has ever gotten better or declined. It has only changed. I think that if you prefer the tests, the mystery, the world building, there's a good chance you're going to enjoy earlier Tower of God more, where if you enjoy overpowered main characters, more one-on-one fights, a larger scale, you're going to enjoy Tower of God more now. And like, there's a bunch of different things in between. So it's like, if you were to tell me what's better, Season 1 or Season 3, I don't know. It depends on it depends on what you prefer. In some ways, I think Season 3 is better. In some ways, I think Season 1 is better. But it totally depends on what you as a reader are looking for, what you prefer. I can't really say that it's gotten better or worse in any way. I think the art is more detailed, but it's less fluid and creative. So again, I have a lot of things that I prefer about earlier Tower of God compared to now, but I definitely couldn't say that it's worse now. But I also wouldn't say that it's better. It's just different. I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion. But with all those maybes or former unpopular opinions out of the way, I'll finally get to my actual answer. And my actual answer for what I think is an actually unpopular opinion, because here's the thing. So Naya said at the beginning of his video, and I totally agree with him, that I'm like, wow, Raizen had a good video. I completely disagree with him. I don't think the princesses are overrated or whatever. I completely disagree with him, but it was a good video. He made his point well, and I think that makes it a good unpopular opinion. If it's really unpopular, there's kind of like an over 50% chance of me disagreeing with it. So what I think is an actual unpopular opinion is I do not care, or I don't mind, if there are more irregulars than we know about. Like, we know about Enryu and Phantom Minium, we got Bomb and Rachel, we got the Great Warriors and stuff. I wouldn't mind if Siyu was just like, oh yeah, Yeon Yarde, who's supposed to be a relative of Yeon Hana or whatever, she's an irregular too. She just isn't that strong. She didn't get the family head contract. That's why she's not one of the Great Warriors, why she's not a family head, but she's an irregular too. I wouldn't mind that. We do have just the one blog post thing that when it was listing everyone's birthplaces, and it listed like unknown for pretty much everybody else, but it listed 80th floor as Luzlek's. I don't think that, I think that Luzlek is going to be born in the tower. I don't think he's going to be an irregular, but if CU decided to change things and not really go with that blog post and just say he was an irregular and a relative of Arlen, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't mind. I don't think that would take away really. You could again just say that he didn't get one of the family head contracts and that's why he's not counted among them. Same thing with Mixeth and how the workshop kind of exists outside the tower also. If you were to tell me, oh, Mixeth is an irregular, I'd be like, I'm fine with that. Or even if we get, like, out of nowhere for a new arc, CU's like, oh, this is an irregular that I just haven't mentioned in the blog post before, that we haven't been told about before. This is a new irregular that I haven't told you about. I'd be like, yeah, it's fine. I don't think irregular, and I think this is unpopular, because I think a lot of people would like for the term irregular to just be a very important specific thing for this specific group of characters that we see. But I don't mind if it's just like, yeah, I'm adding more to the lore. We get to learn about like 3 new irregulars that were also important. I wouldn't really mind that. I don't think it would detract that much. Again, it always depends on how CU does it. He could do it poorly, he could do it well. But yeah, I think that's my unpopular opinion, is that I think a lot of people would be upset if like there were just irregulars who like weren't particularly that notable or that strong or anything. But for me, it's like I'm fine with there being like a couple of regulars here and there who like, or maybe Ghost Young. A lot of people have theories on him. Maybe he's an irregular that's just working with Head-On, has been working with Head-On for a long time. I'd be fine with it. I wouldn't really mind. to me, especially with like Rachel's an irregular that's not super strong by default. I'd be fine if there are just some irregulars out there that weren't as important or that we just haven't been told about yet. I would be totally fine with that. And I guess that's my unpopular opinion, I would think. I don't know. I don't know what everybody else thinks about this. I don't know if everybody's just going to be like, I agree. And it's like, well, now it's not an unpopular opinion anymore. But yeah, I guess that's where I'm at with this one. Turned into a long video, lots to discuss. Again, I think all three of these responses are going to be a little on the long side just because I thought about them a lot. They were all good questions that made me think. Like before I even got into my answer for this, I was going over things that I'm like, well, I used to have these unpopular opinions, but now either I don't have the opinion anymore or it's not unpopular anymore. Or, oh man. Or like things where I'm like, I have these opinions that might be unpopular, but I don't really know. I don't think they are. I don't think it's that unpopular an opinion to like season 3, for example. Like, or if I add a certain criticism, because it's like, there's probably going to be tons of people who agree with me, tons of people who disagree with me on almost anything. There's a lot of split opinions in the Tower of God fan base, to the point where I just felt like when I was trying to answer this, I'm like, most things I say, it's like, I'm going to probably have just dozens, maybe hundreds of people who are like, yeah, I also think that. So it's like, it's hard to think of an opinion that is unpopular just because so many people think so many different things when it comes to Tower of God. But either way, that is it. Thank you for listening through all of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to move on to answering Milios's next. But yeah, go check out Raizen's video. I put it in the description and comments, hopefully, by the time you're seeing this. And go check out the video I just did before this on Naya's. And yeah, it's kind of hard thinking of all this because I'm recording them all back to back. But yeah, just gonna go move on now. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me your answers, all that kind of stuff. Same as usual. Follow on Twitter if you want, and if you want a link to the Discord server, ask and I can give you one. If you would like to help support the channel on Patreon, it's patreon.com/HakuofTheTubes, or a link will be in the description. Either way, that's it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.